Van der Weyl, hoe gaan dit?
Lekker in you.
Yes, Hansie, you're right.
Yes,
Willem.
alles vervaas.
I didn't know you were speaking to me because so fast.
Hoe
Philippe,
is Galaxy 10?
spreek jij de Nederlands al?
Ja, kom, gooi bietjie.
Ja, echt zo'n beetje. Maar niet veel hoor.
Hey.
Maar ik zal even proberen. Maar het gaat nog niet zo snel.
You're like.
Ja, maar ik zie dat Hansie vindt dit erg grappig. Zo, ik ga het maar liever niet spreken.
Ek sal nooit in so iets aan doen en met jou in.
Wonderlijk inderdaad.
That was
Ja.
perfect. That was perfect.
Ek kan die Nederlands en praten.
Hansie,
Hansie-
you are called for Croatia, Hansie. It's
Come on. Yes.
Hansie, jy kan Portugees ook mos eintlik praat. Ek en jy het nou die
Ja.
dag gepraat. Dit is mos patats en tomaats en weet mos.
Yes. Peri.
Ja, wir können auch alle ein bisschen Deutsch sprechen für die. Also willkommen bei unserem Reach Partnerschaft Feier heute Abend. Ihr seid herzlich willkommen in dieser Zeit und vielen Dank, dass ihr alle hier seid. 2 Bier bitte.
Guten Abend.
Prost. Welcome everyone. It's great to have you here. There's a lot of people still joining. So thank you for joining. It's great to see you here. And what's exciting about this evening is that we can have international people actually joining us here. So welcome Saskia. It's great that you can join us.
Thank
All the
you.
way from the US. We've got Philip Pretorius, who is a church planter in Netherlands here. So thanks Philip for joining us.
awesome. Great to be here.
Got our own Degenaar Bekes from Mozambique, Maputo here. So welcome Dej.
Awesome.
It's great to have you here. Willem from Tsanin, Willem van Styl planted Tsanin beginning of the year, joining us as well. So welcome. We've got Hansie Reineke and his wife Marna, who are going to plant in Croatia whenever that's going to be, because God has stopped the world for them to for a moment so that they can be longer with us. So it's very exciting here as well. So Harry and Wendy as well joining us this evening as well, and various other senior leaders and all of our Reach partners. We're very excited. Thank you for joining us. It's always great to have you here. And this year, as we all know, lockdown happened, pandemic happened, and we've got a different partner celebration running this evening from the comfort of your home. And I hope you treated yourself to one of the nice recipes that we sent out, and you could enjoy the food from a choice of couple of nations. I hope some of you participated in that. I had a birthday cake. My little boy, my oldest one, is 6 years old today. So just a celebration on that. So I didn't bake anything from that recipe. I had a homemade chocolate cake that my mother-in-law made. So very lekker and delicious, as we say. So this evening is about you as a partner as well. So foremost, it's about you. So we want to thank you for your continual partnership, for standing with us, for praying for Reach, but also being in relationship with some of the church planters that are here and other Every Nation missionaries that you support, that you pray with, that you partner with. So it's very exciting. So thanks a lot for you. A lot of this would have not been possible without your help and your support. And it's not just financially, it's also the praying part. And then some of you that joined on missions and are still going on missions to support the church planters. Thank you very much for that. It's really blessing in this time. Just a quick feedback on the finances. We actually have not dropped so far a lot in this time. So thank you for still continuing partnering with us. We really, really appreciate that. And it's really great news. And we've been able to do so much with the blessing God has given you that you can bless us with, to extend that blessing and make it possible to go to the nations, possible to support the church planters, send people through training, enabling people in that, and just keep on stirring the heart for the nations. So without further ado, we're going to hear about our church planters this evening, get some feedback from that. And first on the line is Mike Groenewald, all the way from the East Natal. And he's from Mbombela. So they planted, went over there in 2017, started there, Mike and Linda went there in the unknown, wrestling lions, wrestling the jungle, and conquering by hand the town of Mbombela. So Mike, welcome. It's great to have you here. And yeah, just tell us how have you seen God grow the church since you've started planting over the years, and give us some feedback on that.
Friends, thanks. It's so good to be with you, and just feeling that, it's not something that, it's not a new feeling for me, but just knowing that we're part of a family, knowing that we're doing this together. I don't ever want to do church without family. And, we are so privileged, or Linda and me, we are so privileged to be part of this group and to have been sent from Tshwane. We are overwhelmed by what God is doing in Mbombela, Nelspruit, Isu Natal, in the province of Mpumalanga. We absolutely love what God is doing. It's interesting over the lockdown how God has forced us to focus on the right things. I've had Philip Senior here a couple of times, and every time he says to me, Mike, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do this. And how lockdown forced us to do what Philip always tells us to do, to just get back to the basics, focus on your connect groups. And we have seen such a grace in the lockdown period. I can just give you stats of what God is doing here with non-church people. These are not people that's part of churches, but our Connect group attendance grew with 40% over the lockdown period. Our Connect groups grew with 40%. And just for us to see what kind of people God is adding to the church, just a quick testimony. We have an ex-professional golf player that moved to Nelspruit. And it's a classic case of group evangelism. There's three of the guys in our church know him, and they just purposefully reached out to this guy. And we just saw over the last 3-4 months how he's joined a Connect group. He recommitted his life to God. He attended our victory training that we had 3 weeks ago, got baptized last Sunday, and just his victory hour with one of the young leaders in our church is a transformed man. And, for us, we celebrate the type of people that God is using to build the church. And so, yeah, we are experiencing God's grace upon the church in a beautiful way. And, just there's so many things that we can celebrate. Firstly, spiritual family, as I mentioned, but also our growth path. Just specifically this testimony that I'm sharing about Ruan is, the blessing that we have in the one-to-one booklet, the blessing of the discipleship growth path with the victory training and all the resources that we have. So yeah, Rudolph, it's been an exciting season. We've broken 100 people in Connect groups now, and we celebrate what God is doing. We're going to end off with this. The word that God has given us the last 2 weeks has been, as we've been praying together, is that God wants to enable us to transform a city to disciple a nation. And that's what we live for, and that's what we're here for.
Come on. Thanks, Mike, for sharing. Mike, you've been the church planter that went out the longest. So what are your 1 or 2 points of advice to someone starting off like Hansi that still needs to get out of the blocks, and Willem that just started jumping out of the blocks?
You're asking me to give advice to guys that's done much greater things than me. But, I just think that the greatest joy for us is to see the church grow with non-church people. You know, I just think it's something that all of us know, and all of us live for that. That's advancing God's kingdom. And, you know, I spoke to Linda earlier today, and we tried to work out, but we can confidently say that more than 60% of the people in our church was not in churches before they started joining Connect groups. So yeah, you know, I think the most important thing is stay close to spiritual family, because I cannot tell you what relationships has meant to Linda and me. We've never felt alone. The other thing is, so build with the non-church people. They're the best people to hang out with. And secondly is just to stay close to family, you know, to have the relational covering that we enjoy just by being in a group like this. And, you know, the whole thing with Reach is, you know, this is something that we've learned from the Pretoria Church and how they've planted, is to be generous from the start, you know, and we're really trying to do that as much as we can. And I can honestly testify, in the last year, we have made a very purposeful decision to be generous, to give more. And it's amazing how God has responded in just bringing in a harvest as we've been generous. So,
well, thanks for sharing, Mike. Applause there, and thank you. Yeah, just the testimony of God really is providing and supplying. It's great testimony of more people joining Connect groups during lockdown and coming back to the basics. Willem van Zyl, you've started, moved to Tzaneen all the way in December. You've started in January. So yeah, just give us some feedback. How's it going so far in Tzaneen, and what have you experienced so far as your biggest challenge?
Hello everyone. It's an honor to be with you guys tonight. So we really feel blessed for the way that things has been going the last couple of months. Obviously, like I also said in Reach's letter, that when we started out and started planning, we didn't see COVID coming. So there's a lot of things that we planned that didn't happen. But I think God has put us in a place where He's just guided us to do the right thing and to start slow. My natural tendency is I want to finish something. I want to start a job and I want to finish that. And I think this time has just purposefully pushed me back a bit to spend time and quality time with a couple of people that we have now. So at the moment we're about 8 Connect groups, but we've had such a good time in the beginning of the year, and even now coming together and just laying the foundation of discipleship. Obviously, people are used to going to church, but they're not used to reaching out to people in a purposeful way or in an intentional way and discipling them. So laying the foundation of who we are as a family, and just showing them the value and the importance of discipleship was the thing that we focused on over the last couple of months. And I can truly say that that the people they're diving in to the culture and understanding and reaching out to people. And some of the Connect groups has multiplied as well. So they come to understand the value of discipleship. So, and the biggest challenge for me is because I'm a people person and I like to sit with people and look into their eyes and share with them. Was the fact that I couldn't do a Connect group with the guys around me. And the online, it went well, but it's not the same as having people and being able to be in their presence and share your heart with them in that way. So for instance, there's a couple that's joined the gatherings, but I haven't met them yet. So it's a bit awkward speaking to them, but not having met them yet, and having a place where you can cut into their hearts and they can see in your eyes and hearing your voice when you're together. What your heart is all about. So I think that was the biggest challenge, but overall we are stoked.
Great, thanks Willem for sharing. Just great to hear your stories there. And just briefly, just explain your setting there. Because you mentioned you're able to meet now already. and you're planning a bit further ahead to have some trainings as well.
Yeah, so the space, yeah, we've been so blessed in the house that we're living in. So we have a big space to accommodate people. Yeah, we've been planning for a while and getting all the regulations and stuff in place to meet and be together. So for the last couple of weeks, 2 weeks, we've met together. Not everyone, because there's still a couple of people that's a bit shy to go out and be yeah, get the opportunity or the fact that they might get COVID. So but we've been meeting together for 2 weeks, so we're planning in the future at the end of September to have our first victory training, and I think that's something that that everyone's also excited about. And we did a victory training last year in April, and there was good feedback regarding the victory training. So everyone that was there, they're eager to invite a couple of people over. So that's going to be a good evangelism experience for us as well. And then we're also planning a marital event or a marital training with just a couple of couples. We don't want to open it up big at the moment. We just want to reach out to a couple of couples that that the people in the church already know and has already built a bit of relationship with. So in short, that's the planning for the next couple of months, just to get the evangelism kick-started a bit, because during the COVID time, all the avenues of evangelism felt like it dried up a bit. So yeah, we're really excited for that.
Great, Willem. Thanks for sharing with us. Truly a lot of prayer to go into that as well. It just really blessings upon your work that you're going to do and what God is really going to do there through you in Tsanin. We're going to move over to Hansie Reineke. I probably don't need to introduce Hansie, but Hansie and Marna, God has spoken to them on their hearts and placed it there to move to Croatia before lockdown. And then Hansie, in this time, you decided to go to Europe, Croatia. Tell us a bit how God has slowed down the whole world to prepare you better to move across into new culture, new country, and a new language.
Yeah, sorry guys. It's our fault that we have COVID. Yes, I must tell you, it first of all forced us to stop and to see God and to grow closer to Him. And since we were forced into homeschooling like the rest of the nation, we could actually transition our kids to the curriculum that they use in the Croatian schools, and it helped us to spend more time to learn the language, because it's they refer it to someone writing or creating a language that was drunk while being on acid. So just to give you an understanding how difficult it is to understand. But lastly, I think because of the lockdown, we could not go to churches in our nation to cast a vision and recruit team and raise financial partners. So what we did is we made a video and we created a virtual vision night. And we were surprised to see 70 people pitch up. And now, because of that, we have people from Tshwane, George, Randburg, and Namibia that's joining the team. So we have 2 staff members and we have 17 people that's considering to relocate to get jobs and to become part of the team in Croatia. And that is incredible.
Wow, Hansie, that is really incredible. Yeah, praise to God for bringing everything together. Hansie, from your experience in prepping and hearing Mike speak and Willem speak, how important do you think is that support from Tshwane backing you as a family going and being there all the way? How important is that for you, knowing that you need that or will receive that from us going across?
Well, I think first of all, I must say we are really grateful for everyone's love and support and encouragement, and just to know, that we are not going alone. And just to explain, as missionaries like Philip Jr. and the rest of the guys, as missionaries and church planters, you are not just going into a complete foreign situation, but you're also leaving everything behind that's familiar. So it's you're in this tug of war, and it's really impossible to do this alone. And I think the commitment, that we have as every nation and as believers to pray, give, and go is not just a slogan; it's critical. The support that we need. If we do not pray, and if you do not pray for us, we have to carry the mission and our faith by ourselves. But if we press into the Lord through prayer together, our faith will carry us. And it's a combined commitment to press in together. And without giving, we will stay right here, and this will remain a good idea. We won't be able to reach Croatia. And without going, we will not have teams, we will not have support, and we will be ineffective, and the mission will be in jeopardy. Because when you go, that my favorite quote is, a light that shines to the ends of the earth shines brightest at home. So as we shine to the ends of the earth, we will be a bright light in our direct circumstances. So we cannot do this alone.
Awesome. Thanks, Hansi, for sharing. Great to hear from you guys. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Willem. Thanks, Hansi, for sharing your experiences, what's going on, and where you are heading. Next up, I'm going to introduce someone that actually does not need any introduction. Harry from the Wild West. Harry Grissel, welcome. It's great to have you here. Wendy, it's great to see you as well. They are actually key to Reach being on the legs and the existence of Reach. They've been working hard, laboring hard, joining people, dreaming about the nations, and Philip drawing them in as well. So thank you, Harry and Wendy, that we can build on what you've established and labored for. So thanks a lot for that. I'm going to hand over to Harry. Philip, if you want to join in, you're welcome. Harry and Wendy have moved, started Reach in Swanepoel and moved into a national capacity. And
sorry, Rob, I just want to know, is the blonde next to Harry the young lady? That's Wendy.
Oh, now I'm gone.
Okay, over to Harry.
So Harry, share with us, where are you guys busy with and what's going on in your lives and in East Africa?
Thanks, Rudolph. Thanks for that generous introduction. Yes, guys, it is tonight is one of our very special evenings, thinking about the nations and really our focus on the nations then as well. And as Rudolph said, we are now heading up East Africa, and we are super excited just to see what God is doing in East Africa. It's a new region for the Every Nation international world. And we started working there or forming that just before our lockdown. So we had great plans for 2020. And then, the interruption that we've got. But be it as it may, God gave us just an incredible start just before COVID. And the countries that we are currently working in, there are 11 countries, that actually forms our East Africa region. But the countries that we are working in is Burundi and, everybody know Kenya. Then we are working in Malawi, and then DRC here, Mozambique, Uganda, and Zambia. Now, Zimbabwe forms part of that as well, and so does Mauritius. But Mauritius at this stage just lies under the, the work of our Joburg cluster. But these are the countries, that we are looking after. And God has really blessed us with tremendous servant leaders in these countries then as well. In Burundi, we've got Jean Baptiste and his family. There's a more French-speaking nation. And so they've got an established church there. And we're busy transitioning them more and more into the Every Nation values, discipling. And they are actually working on 7 campuses already. Even during the lockdown, we have seen tremendous growth and tenacity of them just working in there as well. In Malawi, we have got James. Now, James has got the most interesting story. He was a gardener here in South Africa, got saved, went back to Malawi, and just started doing, what he was taught here to make disciples. We are actually working now with 13 churches in Malawi, helping them, just to align with our Every Nation values. But what an awesome servant of the Lord. You know, I really love him so much. Then, of course, Diegi is in Mozambique. You'll hear a little bit more from him. Uganda, most of you know Ronald. Ronald has been here with us at the mission school. And just to see what Ronald is doing, he got married the other day, but tremendous work. You know, that young man, I think, is going to go so far. They've grown in the discipleship groups. It's beautiful to see, you know, what they are doing in Uganda. And then, of course, Daniel is, you know, he's working and also running or starting up our church there in Lusaka, working mostly there with students in as well. We were there just before the end of the beginning of the lockdown, and they've also, you know, seen tremendous growth there as well. Most of these guys are working, you know, just by faith. So they're living by faith. And in this COVID, you know, we have seen, you know, such hardship, economic hardship for them as well. But God has been good, and we've been able, you know, people just open up their hearts, and we've been able to help them along and just to see them through COVID. So thank you for everyone that is just so generous in helping our leaders there as well. So what we can pray for is really for the growth. We've got 7 more countries that we would want to reach in our East Africa countries. All the easy countries has been taken. You know, we're sitting with countries now like Eritrea, Djibouti, and Somalia. Those are the 3 under the 310 most difficult countries in the world to be a Christian. Terrible persecution in those 3 countries, but we're trusting God for them as well. Madagascar is there. So we're gonna, you know, we're trusting the Lord to get there then as well. And then Rwanda and Tanzania. Those are the countries that we are trusting God for. So please pray for open doors. We've got contacts in most of those countries. So we trust the Lord to get there as soon as possible. We trust the Lord to travel there as soon as possible. Zoom has only worked so far for us now. I think Zoom is now Zoom past, and we need to get, you know, bodily into the countries as well. That is what we are trusting God for. Guys, thank you for your support. Thank you for your open hearts, and thank you, you know, that the nations are on your hearts. You're praying, giving, and helping people to go, and we praise God for that.
Thanks, Harry, for sharing. Let's keep in prayer. Thanks for the update. And yes, we've all zoomed out. So it's time to get on the ground and visit people. But God has also interesting plans in this time. He has everything in that, and he knows what's necessary, what needs to happen. I'm going to introduce to you Jonathan Atkins. So over to you, Jono. I can't see you on my multi-screen here. Just wave.
Thanks, Rudolph. Good evening, everyone, also from my side. It's a great privilege. I'm just thinking about our church planters this evening, listening to Mike and Willem and Hansi, and even now Harry and Wendy. And it's such a great privilege to not just share this evening with them, but to honor them as church planters. They're amazing men and women and families that's willing to go to the nations. And yeah, guys, we just want to honor you guys. And I have the privilege of speaking with 2 of our church planters that's now currently beyond our borders. And I'm going to ask Degenaar, who's from our Maputo church in Mozambique. I'm just going to ask him a couple of questions in terms of how they are doing as a church plant. But before I do that, I want to honor Degenaar. Those of you who don't know him personally, I have a great privilege of regularly talking to Degenaar. And in those moments, I always try to encourage him. But Degenaar, in his personality, you cannot have a conversation not with Degenaar and walk away encouraged and inspired and just uplifted. And Degenaar, you're such an amazing person. Apart from what God is doing in your life, we want to honor you for the man that you are, honor your family. And it's such a great privilege to speak to you tonight. So thank you for your taking time out and being with us. I know you and Antoinette and also Anna-Marie is doing some amazing work there in Maputo. I know we're going to watch a testimony now, but before we do that, is there anything that you want to share in regards to you as a family or in regards to this testimony that we're going to watch?
Yes, thank you, Jonathan. Thank you for the kind words. It's really a privilege also to be part of this tonight. It's really overwhelming, in a sense, being in a different nation, but knowing that you're part of this family is really incredible. So, yeah, I think you can start with the video just to give some background. It's me speaking with one of my disciples and him with one of his disciples. And yeah, maybe I can just follow up from there.
Great.
Hola. Hi, family and friends. We're really excited to do this video and just share how we are doing here in Maputo. Excited that our Every Nation family is growing. And yes, just what's been happening these past few months during the COVID time. We've really had some challenges, especially on a personal level for some of the people in our church. But also the fact that we couldn't come together on Sundays, not being able to meet and encourage one another, just sharing each other's lives in that regard. But I have to testify and just thank God how amazing, even in these months it's been. We've been meeting each other personally in each other's homes, having a real one-on-one discipleship meetings. And it's just been incredible to see how God has used this time to even unite us, but to increase our passion for Him and our passion for the vision that He has given us as a church to reach this city with His gospel. So we're really so thankful that even during this time, God has just increased our faith and just an amazing work in our lives together. And this today I have the privilege of introducing two disciples. It's really an amazing two young men passionate about Jesus, and they'd also like to share from their hearts, from their personal story, what God has been doing these past few months. So next to me is Palembi, an amazing devoted follower of Jesus, just so inspiring to watch him, just following Jesus sold out. And then he will share from his heart, and also his disciple Artur will also then come to share what God has been doing in his life. But I'd like to call now Artur to actually interpret for Palembi, and then Artur will end off, and then we'll say goodbye. So thank you very much.
Olá, família Evernation.
Hello, Evernation family.
Meu nome é Palembi.
My name is Palembi.
Eu sou discípulo de Dias.
I am Dias' disciple.
Eu conheci Jesus no campus.
I knew Jesus in the campus.
Quando Dias falou uma palavra.
When Dias talked to me about the word.
Quando ele falava a palavra, sempre insistia para que nós tivéssemos relacionamento direto com Jesus.
And whenever we talk about the word, he would always insist for us to have a great relationship with Jesus.
Sou muito grato.
I'm so grateful.
Porque o relacionamento do discipulado que eu tive com Dias,
because this discipleship relationship that I had with Dias,
não, ele me liderando ensinou-me na verdade qual é o nosso objetivo.
He actually taught me what was the goal.
E que o nosso objetivo não são regras.
And that our goal were not the rules,
mas levar a nossa vida a fundamentalizar na Bíblia.
But to take our lives and base them on the Bible.
Não, agora quando eu olho para mim,
so right now when I can look at me, at myself,
a minha vida mudou completamente.
My life has changed a lot.
A minha fé cresceu.
My faith has grown.
E através do relacionamento discipulado a
and through the one-on-one discipleship,
tenho tido a oportunidade não só de amar a Deus, mas também de amar todas as pessoas.
I had the opportunity not only to love God, but also to love everyone else.
E sou muito grato mesmo.
And I'm so grateful.
Porque com base nisso e nessa família Evernation.
Because based on that and Evernation family,
conheci também o Arthur.
I got to know Arthur.
É irmão.
He's a brother.
Amigo.
A friend.
Que amo muito.
That I love so much.
E obrigado também pelo nosso líder Dias.
And thanks to our leader Dias.
Agora dou a palavra ao Arthur também para que possa dizer alguma coisa.
Right now, just let me talk right now. Hello, once again, Evernation family. My name is Arthur. Well, about my spiritual life, I actually got to know Jesus like about 5 years ago. But I was in the church before. But then when I came here to Maputo, my hometown, my homeland, I actually didn't have a church to go. So what happened is that I was actually falling. I was literally falling apart, but then this certain it was about like 7 months later, I got to meet like the South African team Every Nation South African team, and there I got to meet like Yandra and Eastern. They are the ones who actually preached the word to me, and I was excited that day. They actually even invited me to go and visit their family. I was so happy, and I was like, yeah, I'm going there because I needed to go somewhere because I was falling, and I went there. I knew the family, and I was delighted. So from that day, I enjoyed it, and I decided to be there like permanently. And here I am today, and thanks to Palamba, he's my teacher. I'm his disciple in this case, and he's been teaching me a lot. We usually have meetings on a regular basis. We always talk on social media. We always have meetings, and thanks to our leader, DS also, he's our main let's say leader, and he's the one who guides us all as a whole family. Thanks so much for giving me this opportunity, and I think we've been having like a great experience with Jesus, and it's good. This discipleship thing is good. Thank you.
Bye.
Wow, guys, I don't know about you, but it's such an inspiring. This is what we do as Every Nation. We go to the nations to reach people and to see discipleship, not just from a leader, but onto somebody else, and then that person reaching out and discipling others. Deegnar, amazing job. Do you want to add to that what's been shared there from those two guys?
Thanks, Jonathan. I didn't. Well, first of all, sorry for the chicken in the background. You know, we had a few. Tried it a few times, and that was the best one we had, with the chicken just cutting in 3 times. So yeah, I didn't planning on saying on this or planning to say this, but you know, when I look at these guys, even for me just in this moment, I'm just realizing just how amazing just how amazing God is, and the power of the gospel, and seeing, I think the most rewarding thing being on mission, people come to Christ, meet Jesus, see their lives change in front of your eyes, and have a hunger to know God, and literally become leaders before your eyes. And I think if I just look at this, it actually wants to bring tears to my eyes, because it's so amazing to be part of what God is doing in the nations. And I think, just to latch onto the video, what I can add, I think during the COVID time, the fact that we could still see each other, we couldn't see each other in groups, but we could go to everybody's house and see each other individually, and still really focus on connecting and doing our discipleship groups and so forth. It's really brought us back to a place where we realize, what this intentional relationship means, what it means when we're saying, discipleship is intentional relationship. It's doing life together. And I think sometimes also we can come into, even not meaning to, but come into a rut where we do discipleship and forget it's about relationships, it's about people, it's about, building experiences together, building trust together, going through good times, bad times together. And that was really the essence of what we've experienced this past few months, seeing a deeper side of each other, going into each other's homes, understanding better what the circumstances are, and in that sense, really trying to do life together. And I think it's been so valuable for us as a group, and doing that, together, going to each other's houses and meeting in that sense. So I'm really thankful for the past few months that we've had. It's really strengthened the members in our church, and I can just see it in their faith, their commitment, the way that they're so excited. Maybe I can also just share the fact that for those of you who don't know, we had the privilege of actually finding our very first venue now during the time of lockdown, and it was an old bakery. Very funny actually how this whole thing came about, but it was actually God's hand on this. And it was so dirty. It has been standing closed for so long with these old industrial ovens and mixers. And, when we called the people to come and help and clean, it was just an amazing moment where you could just see the excitement of the family coming together, excited about what God wants to do. And, we were like for a few days just scrubbing that place and painting it together and doing everything that we can. And we actually this Sunday, as in this coming Sunday, we're going to have our first gathering there, and we're so excited. So really excited about what God is doing, and I think really just reminding us of the value of really investing into people's lives. And I really just I remind myself so many times of it's so worth it to invest your time into someone, to see them follow Jesus and help you make disciples. It's really so worth it. So yeah.
Degenaar, it's awesome. As you're talking, I was just, oh man, I wish we could listen the whole evening to you. Not that the other guys are not inspiring, but I think as you're talking, I'm just so encouraged in my heart. That's who we are as a church. And we really want to honor you and Antoinette and Anna Marie for the amazing work you're doing in Maputo. And I know you guys have been laboring at this for a couple of years, and we're starting to see the fruit that we've been trusting for. So well done. And we just want to honor you guys. And we pray even now with the venue, and God would just increase your capacity and grace you to reach more people. So we honor you. Thank you, Degenaar. Thank you for that amazing testimony and for what you guys are doing there in Maputo.
Thank you, Jonna. I appreciate it.
Awesome. I also have the privilege of introducing Philip and Marijke from Utrecht in Nederland. That was my best version of any form of Dutch. It would be great if you guys could welcome us in Dutch, if you don't mind.
Ja, goedenavond allemaal.
Goedenavond,
Ja.
het is goed om jullie te zien.
Ja, ik vind het erg prima. En de Nederlanders heel zeggen hartstikke leuk. When it's just really great. It's a strange thing, but yeah, I'm sure you can understand if you're Afrikaans.
I think there's just a couple of us that's going like this, but we don't really understand. But either way, it's great to hear you guys speaking in Dutch. Like I mentioned with Degenaar's amazing couple, Philip and Marijke. When I thought about them this evening, I thought they've got this unique quality in that they can see difficulty, but at the same time, they have this can-do spirit. So whenever I had the privilege of speaking, especially with Philip would tell me, yeah, there's this challenge and this reality and those kind of things, but there's always a but, Jono, we're going to do this and we can do this and we're going to give it a go. And we just want to honor you too, just for that willingness to persevere and to do things for the Lord. It's a great quality that I admire in both of you, just for the way that you're willing to serve Jesus in spite of challenges that you're facing. But Marijke, maybe could you share with us, it's almost exactly a year since we've sent you from South Africa to Utrecht. How are you guys doing? How have you settled in a different nation, and especially in such a unique year?
John, it's going very well with our family. The four of us, we are all healthy. And yeah, we couldn't have imagined the year starting off with COVID. It started really early the year here in the Netherlands, already in March, early March. But despite that, we've really grown closer as a family, and yeah, even as a fellowship, just a church plant, our team, and also the people that is already part of us. So yeah, we are healthy and we are enjoying summer at this moment. There's a great spirit in the whole of Netherlands. The schools are closed and we are swimming and out in the sun. We never imagined that living in Europe. So yeah, we are really well. It's going well with our hearts. We are happy and excited for us now in September, the year starts again, the new year, and the schools open for the new school year. So we are excited for this new year coming up.
That's great to hear that. And just thinking about the year that you guys all of us have had, it's difficult to imagine that there could have been some significant things happening in a church plant that's in their first year in a new nation. But there's some significant celebrations and testimonies that you guys can share. Would you be so kind just to share with us what's been happening as a church plant in this unique time in the world?
Well, Jonathan, I think the first thing is maybe just to mention for everyone who don't know this, there's another family from Every Nation, Paul, Jacques and Kirby, and they're 2 children and they're pregnant with a third coming soon. They also moved almost the same time as us, also vocationally in ministry, part of our team. And I think the biggest thing that we're really thankful for is that for both of our families, that we've just successfully transitioned into a new nation, and that it's also been a healthy transition. I mean, you when you think about church planters and missionaries, you think, after a few months, they must be saying, yeah, it's going, it's really going tough. Everything is just falling apart. Those poor missionaries, there's almost been that mentality. And I'm so thankful, firstly, for all of you, as a church movement, that we send church planters well. We send them in a healthy manner so that they can transition emotionally well, financially well, spiritually well, physically well, and that it's a healthy transition. And we're super thankful for that. That there hasn't been a phone call to say, Jonathan, we need to get back to South Africa. Things are falling apart. There's really none of that. And I think that's actually a massive win. And we're so thankful for that. And thank you for all the support we're getting. And but also we're thankful that even before the COVID and everything, we've managed to establish a core group of roughly 15 people who's really committed to what we're doing, passionate. And we started our first Connect groups. And discipleship already started building some momentum. And we're also very excited. We've got a really significant open door at a sport club for evangelism, where there's more than 50 people that we can see on a weekly basis, of whom, just maybe for context, there is no Christian. There is none. We are the Christians. And that is the environment that we are engaging in. And in a sense, it's daunting, and there are definitely challenges, but we're so excited. It's such a privilege to be able to just bring the light in such a context, to bring the gospel in such a context. And yeah, we're just so expectant for what's ahead in terms of that opportunity. And also, we've managed to completely translate the one-to-one. We've translated it, and then we had to retranslate it, proofread it, everything. But it's sorted now. It's done. It's great, and we're so thankful for that. So that's in Dutch, and also we've got a few really significant connections on Utrecht University. So excited for the university to open up again. We're trusting in September for campus ministry-wise, and also, I think significantly, we have been learning the language, and we have experienced some growth. Initially you would think you're just starting to get the language, and you would just do something silly like ordering a coffee, and I would speak in Dutch and order the coffee in Dutch, and then after a while the person I'm ordering from just starts speaking English back to me, and then obviously they've realized I'm really struggling, and they're just going to help me out here. So I'm thankful to say that I've been having conversations where people stick with Dutch, which just gives me the assurance we are getting there. And I can really encourage Ansi. I'm thankful to hear you're learning the language, and everyone. It's even if people can speak some English, if you want to connect to their hearts, you need to learn the language. It's as simple as it is. So we're really making a big priority of continuing to study the language and the Dutch culture, of course. But yeah, we feel like we've got a really good foundation set to just continue forward from.
Yeah, awesome, guys. Well done. That's incredible. It's great to hear that feedback as well. Would you mind just sharing with us what are some of the things that you are looking forward to and really trusting God for as a church plant in a different nation?
Yes, Jonathan, you know what? There's 4 things that's really profound and unique to the Netherlands that we're doing. Engage, establish, equip, and empower. And we are excited about that, and that's the focus. That's what we're all about, and we are so excited about the relationships we have to really in depth engage people all the more, and trust to transition those relationships that we've had, those people we're engaging with, and we're trusting for a lot more people to engage with, that we can start to transition that into having connect groups and really start establishing foundations. And that's really the aim of the game. And because ultimately, Jonathan, we want to see people becoming born again, having encounter with Jesus Christ, and experiencing the joy and the fulfillment of what it is to know our Creator. And that's our passion. And that's why our main thing will remain making disciples. So that's really what it is about. So as I said, we have some sport clubs and other areas that we really have open doors at to engage people with the gospel and trusting to see that transition all the more into connect groups. And also we're trusting to have our first victory training and discipleship training in the upcoming months. And also we've got a few specific goals as a team in terms of proficiency tests with the Dutch language that we want to continue to meet, and that we have planned out that we can grow in that. And even in our core group, we're starting to identify a few specific leaders that we want to gradually see them really being empowered and equipped for them to minister as well. Yeah, we're really excited about that. And then we're actually currently in the process of our church registration, the entity itself. Last week, we submitted all our paperwork and it was accepted. However, it must be signed off in basically the branch in Amsterdam, and that is in that process now. So we're really trusting for grace just for the final sign off for the church registration, because obviously that has some practical implications as well. And yeah, then also social responsibility wise, there's a few avenues we're really navigating through and praying through how we can already as a church become involved in the community on a social responsibility way as well. It might be refugees, it might be various things. That's what we're currently really just probing where God is leading us towards in terms of that.
Awesome. And maybe to end off from your side, what's been the most significant thing that you've learned as church planters in this season about God?
Jono, I think for us, when you find yourself in a new country, and although we have support and we have each other and we have a team, there's moments where you have to find your feet, you have to figure out things. And I think we've really learned in this time to know God as a friend and as a companion, because you find yourself in situations daily where you just feel so excluded from a conversation at school and all the moms because you can't speak Dutch, and just figuring things out. And we've really learned to just walk so closely with God and to have those conversations with him, because for the first part especially, he's really your only friend, your only companion, and we've really grown in our intimacy with God. So yeah, I think that's number one for us.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for sharing. We're trusting with you for what God wants to do in the Netherlands and through you guys and through the Snyman family as well. And I think on behalf of everyone on this call and those of us who are watching on YouTube, just towards you as a family, Philip and Marika, but also Degenaar Antoinette, just thank you for being great ambassadors of Christ. And not just being ambassadors of Christ, but also being such a good representation of who we believe we are called to be as Every Nation. So we honor both your families, and also Anna-Marie there with you guys, Degenaar. So thank you so much for sharing and being with us tonight, to both your families, and may God bless you where you are working there in the nations. Thank you, Rudolf.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Jono, for that moment. I'm going to give over to Philip Pretorius. He's going to just share with us with vision on Reach the Nations and a passion for that. Thanks, Philip.
Right. Yes. What an encouragement. Listening to all the testimonies and the testimonies from people we know well. I mean, I can so confirm with what Jonathan has said. Had the privilege of knowing Mike and see you guys there. It's awesome to see what God is doing. I mean, I walked with Degenaar and Philip, you've been part of us for such a long time. And, you know, Willem, all you guys, it's really, really an honor to salute you today. You know, if you were not doing what you're doing and you were not sharing the testimonies what you're sharing, we have no reason to ask anybody anything. And for faithful what you're doing. God has called us to do this, guys. We all are sitting here in lockdown, and it's a little bit, you know, here we sit on a screen watching each other. How much better would it have been to touch each other and, be around one another. But the one privilege of tonight is we can actually have all of you share from different parts of the world, and we actually can utilize the advantage of having a Zoom call tonight and speaking together. I want to inspire us this morning. You know what? I find myself, I don't know about you, but so many times because of the screen and being zommeled out with all the Zooms, you kind of lose sight of what is really important. We see the challenges of what's happening with COVID and the viruses. We face the tensions of, just the stuff that's happening around us, and all the, racial tension, all that. And here's the risk. We could easily start to focus on other things and be distracted of what we're called to do. We could easily look at all kinds of other strategies and all other kinds of things that we need to do, and kind of lose sight of what Jesus called us to do. Let me tell you, challenges and sinful habits and tensions in the world has always been there, and I believe it's going to be with us in the future also. But that's why Jesus said to us, here's the sole single focus. We take the gospel to the nations and we make disciples of all nations. I don't think this has changed in lockdown. I think lockdown has amplified how important this is. Lockdown has proven that only gathering on Sundays is not ideal. Lockdown has proven that discipleship works. Lockdown has proven that the gospel works. Lockdown conviction is absolute critical to every single believer. Lockdown has proven that nations need Jesus. Lockdown has proven that you and I have a responsibility to take the gospel to the world. Lockdown has proven that relationships matter and that you and I cannot live isolated in our own homes and watch at the screen. Lockdown has proven that you and I have a job to do on this earth. Lockdown has proven that you and I are called for the season, guys. And every single one of you going, giving, supporting, every one of you praying, everyone involved. I know there are many more people involved that are maybe not on the Zoom call right now. They will be listening to this on Facebook, or it's streamed on Facebook at the moment. And also those of you listening on YouTube and those who are listening to the recording. Thank you for being a part. Thank you for, in the midst of, we know you going through trials and tribulations, you going through challenges, you facing even financial challenges, but you stay faithful and you actually sacrifice other things, but you're not sacrificing the mission. You're not sacrificing the calling. Thank you for that. And friends, tonight I want to salute every one of you missionaries out there, church planters. We are behind you. We will not give up on you. You may be far from us, but we will not stop praying for you. We will not stop supporting you. We will not stop going to you, coming to you. We will not stop backing you. You are not alone. You are not alone. We are fully behind you. We are alongside you, and we are with you. It's for me tonight is super inspiring. This is why I'm in ministry. I'm not in ministry to maintain ministry. I'm not in ministry to, kind of just to keep the status quo. If we're reaching lost people, if we stop making disciples, and if we stop raising leaders and plant churches, we might as well stop church. There will be no reason for us to gather than just to maintain the status quo of religious environments. Friends, yes, it is sacrificial to plant. It takes a lot. It's challenging. It's a risky environment. It's more risky. It's more volatile because we don't know what's going to happen. But here's the security we have. We are fulfilling the calling of Jesus Christ. We are called by Jesus to do this. And therefore, our consistency, our stability, and our security it's in 1 Corinthians 1 verse 21. For since the wisdom of God, the world through its wisdom did not know him. If we look at wisdom, God was pleased foolishness. You see, people think it's foolish what we're doing. I mean, and listen, If the world think this is foolish, it's okay. The concern will be when you start to doubt and you think it's foolish what you're doing. Friends, we don't think this is foolish. To the world, this is foolish. You know, but for what to preach, to say, it says, through the foolishness of what was preached to save those who believe. Jews, the mind, science. Greek, look for wisdom. See, Jews and Greeks, the mentality, it's not a race, it's a mentality. The Greeks, they want wisdom. They want to understand. They want to be in mind control. For the Jews, they want to be in eye control. We will not be faithful. But for the disciples, it's way just control. We look up to Jesus who's in control, and we humbly submit and follow. And we trust Jesus for exponential fruit in the world. And then goes and it says, but we preach Christ. We don't wait for eyes, and we don't wait for minds to get involved. We preach Christ. A stumbling block to the Jew. It's stumbling to want to see first. And foolishness to those who wants to understand first. We don't have to have all our ducks in a row. We have to have our Jesus in front of us. We have to listen to Jesus and go. But to those whom God has called, we're not doing something out of preference here. We are called. It's we. It's not Philip and Marika sitting in Utrecht. It's we. All of us involved, making sure Croatia happens, Mozambique happens, East Africa happens. It's all. And once Utrecht is planted, now like Mombambela, they're on their feet, they're there. Now they're getting in, now they're becoming ascending, a supporting, and a power force behind it. So every church we plant become a disciple-making church, planting church, not church, a church planting church. We want to see every church we plant within 2 to 3 to 4 years, they themselves reproduce themselves. Guys, the world is big, we need to reach it. But to those whom God has called, both Jew and Greek, it's amazing that God includes those who want to see and those who want to understand. But He wants to be the Lord. Change the attitude. Christ, the power of God and the wisdom of God. We take the power of God and the wisdom of God to the nations of the world. Guys, it's not for us, time for us to slow down. I believe our greatest time of church planting is ahead of us. It's not behind us. It was not done. It's still to be done. It's ahead of us. We're only slowly building up capacity. Now, for those of you, Phil and the guys in the nations and Degenaar, we are reviving our vision in Tshwane to plant 5 apostolic hubs across the city, north, south, east, west, central. We're done with east. We're busy. South is being established. We are going back into the inner city of our city and planting another congregation there, north and west. Why? As we will not do that at the first and then the rest, simultaneous. But we want to make sure that we plant enough factories to raise more leaders so we can send more leaders. The way to go next, focus, priorities in a city. We need to raise the leaders that are living in our city who's from Africa, to raise them, equip them, and send them back to go and plant churches within their culture. It doesn't have to be cross-culture. We just send them back to their cultures. We are focusing to reach the nations. That's why we exist. Our name is Every Nation. Every morning we wake up. We wake up with the understanding this is our calling and the job is not done. This is what we do. I encourage all of us, let's lift up our hearts. Let's lift up our loins. Let's inspire people around us. Let's not lose focus. Let's not get entangled by the issues of this world. Let's focus, make disciples, raise leaders so that we can accelerate planting churches in the world. Sharing this, a friend of mine, we've been focusing and we've been kind of dreaming, how do we do church planting better? We're busy with a piloting case in Mozambique where we're actually getting behind Yechenar now with business schemes and business plans of empowering local guys. And a friend of mine is actually literally today, we managed to get some of his money out, and he's going to invest in he bought shares in a company that can sell very good quality chocolates, cheap chocolates, and empowering local people to run wildly, to empower them to become business people locally, but financially sustainable. And we are looking into so many different ways of how, especially in East Africa, how can we plant churches and empower people to make our churches financially self-sustainable? So this is pray for us. This is going to be the first point in case, in Mozambique, but not if, when this work. This is going to multiply all over Africa. And there's lots more I can share. I don't have time. But there are business people behind that we're busy working with. They are fully committed. Say they don't want to just make money for themselves anymore. They want to actually make money so we can plant churches. They're getting the vision. That's what we're doing. And for every other businessmen and women on this call, let's make sure that we do business with kingdom mind and focus. There's nothing that will excite us more. Just making money is boring. It's spending the money correctly that is exciting. Let's do this for the honor of God. Excited about this. God bless you. Yes, let's make chocolates to make disciples, to raise leaders, to plant more churches. Love you guys. You are awesome.
Come on, yes. Make chocolates, sell chocolates to reach people, make disciples who will eat the chocolates, who will raise more leaders, who will eat more chocolates, sell more chocolates so that we can plant churches. So everything goes with the chocolate. Chocolate makes the world go round. Thanks, Philip, for sharing the vision.
Sweet calling.
A sweet calling, yes. So we're going to go into a moment of prayer where we're going to pray for all of our church planters. How this is going to work if you're new to Zoom or have never done a breakout room before, I've divided up us into groups. So you will automatically go into a breakout room, follow your screen and the promptings. We're going to have a moment of prayer for 10 minutes in that breakout room. After the breakout room will close itself, and then you will be rerouted to the main session. Please don't leave the main session in between or before that. We just want to thank off the end of the evening. So I'm going to send you into the breakout rooms, accept your invitations, and let's pray for the church planters in that room.
There we go. We're back.
Welcome back, everyone. Hello, Paul.
Thank you, Lonnie.
Yes.
Were you by yourselves that you have to pray now like that, or what?
Sorry, Harry. Ek bid, Harry.
Guess to be Mbombela always.
Yeah, this is the language that we speak in Bombela. Prof Hansie.
Mr. Siopa. Who's up camp?
You always bring mischief to the team. I don't know.
I can solve for no winner. I can solve for no. Which one guy winner?
No, I'm trying to be a helping Mike, man. Asseblief.
Sorry, Sam. Ek is jammer, ou vriend.
Okay, maar ek's baie lief vir jou, né?
Thanks, guys and everyone, guys and girls and ladies and gents, for this evening. Thank you for joining. Thank you for carving out time to join us. Thanks also to our missionaries and church planters for making the time and being with us. I hope you had a great prayer session in each group, and we are really trusting for everyone. Our biggest prayer is for all of us sitting here to have a continual heart for discipleship that's birthed from a foundation in Christ, in Jesus, to really reach the nations, have the big vision, have the big call on our hearts to go into all nations. And throughout this lock time and some difficult times, I'm always reminded at the end he says, go to all the nations making disciples. And he ended off in saying, I'm with you always. So knowing that God is with us during the good and the bad circumstances, the fantastic things, the joys, the heartache, and the tough decisions we have to make, and that God is always there for us, and that we can always call upon his name. So with that, I want to end off this evening, say just thanks a lot for making the time, being with us once again, and may God truly bless each one of us, all of you here, and thank you, thanks for your continual partnership, for your heart, your generosity, and being part of this mission, and praying and giving and going into the nations. We are trusting God for that lockdown will enable us to go on missions internationally again, cross borders. But up until that time, may we be missional in our hearts. May we be intentional with the relationships we have around us, with our neighbors, with our friends and families, and continue praying for the nations. Continue to pray for East Africa region, as Harry mentioned, for our church planters, for their families, for protection. And maybe you're sitting here as a business person saying, but my heart is for the nations. I want to build kingdom business. Please contact Philip. He will get in touch with you to say, how can we help? How can we as a business grow? How can we start business cross-border? If you feel God is calling you into a nation, to join a specific nation, move there with your business or your employer, contact the respective church plant to find out how you can do that and how you get involved in nations. And if you want to continue partnering or increase your partnership, there will be a link posted in the chat. We will send out also the link via email next week with a newsletter with recapping this evening. Please follow the link. You can increase your partnership. If you have business people that have a heart for the nations and want to partner, they can also follow that link. There's a tab that will take you to new partnerships and new signups. And once again, thank you. I appreciate that. Have a great evening. And yes, enjoy the time. And yeah, now it's a time to unmute and thank everyone and greet everyone. thanks for the time and have a blessed evening and a great week. God bless.
Thanks, Rudolph.
Bye-bye. Lekker aand.
Thank you. This was really great.
Thanks, family.
Everyone.
Bye-bye.
Good evening. Bye. Sinet, ons sien net.
Virginia.
Archie.
Archie, dis verkeerd daai.
Yes.
Saskia, you must tell Keith to join us next time.
Yes.
Saskia se pad Mbombela toe.
Ek was nou al voor hy gebore is ek al op pad.
Jy luister net nie.